What's up, everybody? My name is Alex. I'm the COO of Swolverine. I'm hosting the podcast today here, joined by Walter, who is the CEO of Swolverine. What's up, Walt? How's it going?
Good. How you doing, Alex?
Doing good. How's the day been for you?
The day's fantastic. How's it for you?
It's been good. A little stressful, But today we were wanted to hop on here and talk to you a little bit more one-on-one about kind of what's going on in the company's changes. Why don't we have crealkaline? What's going on with creatine shortages? Things like that, so that we can really give our consumer a good idea of kind of behind the scenes, but also keep them in the loop about some of their favorite products.
Sure. Yeah. What a great question. Why is there a creatine shortage? Where has creatine gone? Why are prices increasing? Fun stuff, right? So,
I mean, fun stuff is a relative term. I don't think it's fun.
yeah, that's definitely not fun. But just to give everybody an update, right? Socioeconomically, right? Everything's increasing in price just because of inflation, and supplements are no exception to that. So supplements are also seeing price increases from supply chain issues, from manufacturers closing down and plants closing down, and the supply of creatine really being a lot harder to get. So with a shortage in supply, we're seeing increases in price. We're seeing limited availability in raw materials. Crealkaline is also a trademarked ingredient, so it's very difficult to get in the first place. It's trademarked by a company called All American Pharmaceuticals. Everyone who's listening to this who's really into supplements probably knows about the founder of EFX, which his name is Jeff Galini, very popular in the sports performance world. He is the man behind Crealkaline, and it's been very difficult to get any answers out of All American and to know exactly when they're going to have that product back in stock. So that leaves us kind of in a very vulnerable position, since we do not have access or do not know when they're going to have it back. For now, we've actually added a new creatine monohydrate, which is going to be a supplementary product, right? More, any type of creatine is going to be better than no creatine at all. So that's kind of how we're tackling that issue right now.
Okay. Yeah, some good information in there. So what's going to be the benefit of our consumers switching from crealkaline over to that micronized creatine monohydrate? Where can people see that benefit, or people who have been using crealkaline for a long time, maybe who might be a little weary to switch? What kind of advice do you have for them?
I wouldn't be weary of making a switch. Creatine, again, is creatine. The biggest difference between crealkaline and creatine monohydrate, obviously, is going to be bioavailability. If you've already been taking creatine and you're a consumer who has been taking crealkaline for a long time, there is still no loading period. Like, the biggest issue with creatine monohydrate, especially when you haven't been taking, is that there's going to be a loading period. So 7 to 10 days of taking at least 10 to 15 grams per day. However, like I said, you can forego that loading phase if you're already taking crealkaline, because you already have creatine within your muscle tissue, within your system. So you don't really need to worry about that. You also don't need to worry about cycling off of crealkaline and then going back on creatine monohydrate. Anecdotally, there are people who have some type of adverse effects like bloating or water retention or cramping. That's not necessarily going to be the case if you haven't seen that with crealkaline. If you haven't seen that with any other monohydrate products, you can make a switch. It won't be a big deal. You might see, if you're a very adamant user of crealkaline and you're optimized on your diet and your nutrition, your training, you might see a little bit of a dip in performance. I highly doubt it, just because you already have creatine, like I said, within your muscle tissue for that extra energy system.
Well, and obviously there's a reason why we've carried crealkaline first, right? Why we haven't necessarily carried a creatine monohydrate up to this point. And that's because we do believe that crealkaline is the most purest form of creatine for our bodies and for our athletes and for the community that we serve, right? However, that being said, that creatine monohydrate, the product that we are bringing in, is designed to get you those benefits equally and not have any gaps in your training, since we don't know when that product is going to come back in stock. So in the best interest of the athlete and the consumer, we think it's a great product and we're excited to bring it in. What's the timeline on that? I know that we have it up on pre-order right now. What kind of advice have you seen or can you provide to our consumer who's maybe on the fence about pre-ordering it, or who currently has a pre-order in there?
Yeah, creatine monohydrate should be in stock in the next 3 weeks or so. So it should be available relatively soon. That was actually a pretty fast turnaround, considering how limited the supply is in creatine monohydrate right now. So.
Yeah. And I mean, for those who, maybe haven't been paying attention to our update emails or who haven't been getting them or who are newer to the brand, we have seen, since the pandemic started, we've seen turnaround times in our manufacturing processes accelerate anywhere from 6 weeks all the way up into that 28-week period, right? So we're waiting 28 weeks for a period or for a product to be through the manufacturing process.
Yeah.
That has been a very unexpected timeline. We have no control over that, right? Walter, you can definitely attest to that. Which leads to a lot of frustration within our consumer or within just kind of the industry in general. I mean, with ourselves, right? I'm frustrated, you're frustrated. But the best part or the best thing that we can do is keep our consumer up to date and in the loop on what we're doing and how we're doing it. And, in the spirit of transparency and one of those core values of our company, we want to keep you guys in the loop. So, manufacturing times are improving. Raw material sourcing is improving with the exception, of course, of creatine, creatine in general. Can you comment on any of the other products that we have kind of in the lineup right now that people may be waiting on or can expect to come back into stock?
Yeah, pre-workout is one that unexpectedly sold a lot better than we had anticipated. So
it's like the best worst problem ever.
Yeah. So, a lot of people might be saying, hey, why do you and other companies right now or brands why you keep running out of products, these types of things. And, number one, we already touched on that, but number one is going to be
Well, what was that?
A little guy flying around.
Little bug. Okay.
So one of the problems really is going back to that logistical kind of just like mishaps, right? And it goes all the way from, like I said, suppliers shutting down, from people shutting down just because COVID and different restrictions. Like, you have to remember that across seas or in different areas of the world, like, there are a lot of other people who have different restrictions and different conditions based upon what's going on around COVID. And, it's not the same as it is domestically. And so
then we also have and I'm not trying to interrupt you, but we also have environmental factors, right? I mean, one of the biggest things that we faced last year with the freeze in Texas was that's, where our plastic bottles come from. And then all of a sudden there's a plastic bottle shortage. We might have the raw material, but if we don't have anything to put it in, well, that's going to add a delay into our timeline.
And yeah, it basically creates a domino effect, right? It's a big reverberation in the market when you have one disruption, people not going to work for a certain amount of time. That disrupts several other components, which are all interlinked together in this big supply chain, right? So the pre-workout, when we released that, it was on pre-order for a while. Once it hit the shelves and it was available, it just flew. So, granted, it's a great product. It's vegan, non-GMO, gluten-free. It's a fantastic non-stim pre-workout. We should see that back in stock, unfortunately, at the end of October, before kind of the holiday season. But, when you have products that have multiple ingredients in them, you have to remember, as a consumer, and why we're talking about this now is that each ingredient is going to be sourced perhaps from a different person, from a different place. And so sourcing those ingredients as a manufacturer is very difficult when you're putting together a complete timeline, right? So the more ingredients you have, the more trademarked ingredients you have in one product, the longer timelines and the more mishaps, the more errors that can occur in terms of sourcing those ingredients. You might not get exactly what you want, and those could set up delays. So it's not like ordering a single ingredient like monohydrate. It's a much quicker timeline than if you're going to order something with 10 to 20 different ingredients in it, like greens or a sleep product like ZMT or pre-workout. So end of October is what we're looking at. We're taking pre-orders right now. I highly suggest, if you like the pre-workout, if you haven't tried it, I really do suggest putting in a pre-order because the market's very unpredictable right now. And there's a huge demand on products with, extra cash in the economy. Things are tightening up a little bit, not really, but so I would highly suggest, if you do see a product for any brand that you want and that you feel like, hey, this is a great deal, this is a great product, buy 2 of them, because you don't know if that product's going to be out of stock next week or if you're ever going to get it again.
Yeah, that's actually really great advice. And some people might say like, oh, you're just trying to get me to buy product, and it's like, one of the biggest things that we talked about here at Swolverine is consistency. Consistency is key. How you're going to use your products when you go to the gym, when you're eating throughout the day, right? And the basics. And the last thing you want to do is just be out of that. So yeah, definitely some good advice there. I'm going to bring it into the group here. What is your favorite supplement that you use from Swolverine. We want to hear from you. So hop into that chat here. Let's address that. Let us know, or what product you want to see us launch, right? That's always fun to get some consumer advice. So while you're doing that, Walter, I'm also going to kind of ask you, as far as kind of the pulse and where we're headed, are you excited? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we have product shortages. Yeah, we have shit that's out of stock. But talk to me about the excitement of the company and what gets you motivated? What gets you going when, you come into work and you realize like we're out of 4 products? What gets you going?
What gets me going?
What keeps you going?
Well, I feel like that's a loaded question, right? Because what keeps you going? Well, number one is you have no other option, in my opinion, right? So you got to keep going no matter what happens and what obstacles are in the way, right? Yeah. The obstacle becomes the path. It's something that we always really attest to here and that very well. Mm-hmm. So if there's a problem, we figure out how to work through it and just find a solution. And so what gets me going really is, without problems and without things that don't go your way, you wouldn't call it work. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have anything to do. So for me personally, it's getting out new products. It's getting out new formulations for people that they've never seen, that, combining ingredients with whole foods and sports nutrition ingredients that can really improve your performance and optimize your life and your health and your productivity and how you feel. And that is really what drives me personally, and being able to provide people with something like that. We have a couple of new products that are pretty fascinating and pretty revolutionary in my opinion. With the pre-workout that we released, it's a really good kind of example of the direction we're headed. So the pre-workout had real whole food ingredients in it, from beets, coconut water, ginseng, pomegranate. And you take those types of ingredients and we combine them with beta-alanine, citrulline, and L-carnitine and taurine. And so you have these crazy great amino acids that have tons of studies. God, this guy just doesn't want to go away. Oh, I got him. And you have these crazy amino acids, which you combine, that have these proven sports clinical studies behind them, and you combine that with these up and coming whole food nutrition ingredients that no one else is really using or utilizing. But then you look at the research and like, oh shit, like pomegranate has like 50 plus research studies on it that show that's going to help with muscle mass. It's going to help with adding more antioxidants, to help with, reducing chronic disease. It's got a certain, it's got a polyphenol in it called, and I'm going to say this wrong, so all you guys who are nutritionists out there, you can murder me after this, but punicoligans, something like that, right? I can't say it. I can spell it for you if you wanted me to. But anyway, it's got great bioactive plant compounds in it that's going to help you with your endurance and your strength and your recovery, and optimize the way you live and your heart health and all these different things. And it's fascinating to find all these cool ingredients that are right within our diet and our food and our nutrition and whole foods and raw ingredients that no one else uses, and it blows my mind why you don't use these things. So a couple of cool products we're coming out with. And first to hear it on this first episode of our podcast here is we're coming out with a intra workout. We're coming out with a post workout supplement that's going to complete what we call our performance series. And so we will have the pre-workout, the intra, the post, and the ZMT, which is going to be a combination of these 4 products that really have a whole set from morning all the way through your workout until night when you go to sleep, to really optimize your testosterone production, your sleep parameters, really increase your strength and your overall quality of life. So the intra workout, awesome product. It's got EAA, so all of your essential amino acids. It's got added sodium, potassium, magnesium for your electrolytes. It's got coconut water, tart cherry extract, which has a ton of studies behind it for endurance, and reducing muscle soreness and muscle breakdown. It has spirulina, which is another ingredient that is fascinating, that really helps with your endurance capacity. And it has these amazing ingredients in it. And in the post, same thing. You've got papaya, pineapple, bromelain, people. This ingredient is freaking insanely cool. Okay, check it out on the blog. Bromelain, really cool. All right, it's a group of enzymes Digestive enzymes that has a lot of proven studies behind it to help reduce muscle mass breakdown and improve recovery. It's freaking awesome. So we got that and glutamine, pea starch for carbs, pea protein, whole bunch of stuff. So be on the lookout. We should see those products releasing the end of the year, hopefully before Black Friday. You heard it here. And, that's kind of direction we're headed. And that's what really excites me. It's really gets me going in the morning.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty great. Thank you for the new announcement. Definitely sign up for our email list. You want to be on that list so that you have exclusive access to launches, private sales, content, things that we send out on the blog, opportunities for nutrition coaching. That's going to be a really great place to get all that information. So make sure you're signed up for that. We do also offer new texting opportunities as well, which is a completely different list where it has its own different sales and own different, VIP consumer information for our Swolverine Fit fam. Make sure you sign up for our text. If you go to our Instagram, you can sign up there or on the website. So that is pretty great. Walter, I think that everything going on with the company, the products, what we can do is just live out our motto and adapt or die, right? Like, yeah, we might not have the products in stock. Yeah, we might have to deal with a lot of supply chain issues and things like that and curveballs that are thrown our way, but in being transparent with our customers and just being honest and showing them where we're at, that's where, we can work together and just really kind of elevate everything for everyone at the same time, even if the product's not in stock, right? So we have those new ones coming out. Make sure to sign up for our email list, text notifications, exclusive sales and offers in there. Walter, is there anything else you want to add to this?
No. Do you?
All right. No, I'm good. I'm super pumped. This podcast is going to be a new thing for us. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where you're going to get a lot of our information as well as, announcements on those social media channels. So stay tuned. We're going to be interviewing all kinds of different people, talking about all kinds of topics. Walter and I are also going to hop on here and give you company updates and things like that. Keep you guys in the loop. Maybe do some vlog series on all this crazy stuff that we, have to face here. But thank you for being our consumer. We look forward to seeing you guys next time and take care.